Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. It is Tuesday, March 16th. Ian Cameron with you, and we are ready for another edition of the show. A Tuesday card that is, believe it or not, a little bit shorter than we're used to seeing on this particular day of the week. That was actually a larger NHL slate that we had to look over yesterday on Monday. So with that in mind, we are going to give you a little recap first of the Monday card before we look over the games taking place on this Tuesday. It was a busy slate of action in the NHL on Monday night. So let's get down to business and look over some of those games. Let's start with the Battle of Alberta, an intense game, really fun game. Back and forth it went. The Calgary Flames, really, to be honest with you, doing a lot of the things that they simply, maybe they weren't capable of doing them. Maybe they just didn't want to do them. Maybe it was a situation where the coach's message gets a little stale and you end up tuning the guy out. And maybe that was a product of what we saw from this team during the final few days of the Jeff Ward era. But I'm noticing a completely different looking Calgary Flames hockey team in these three games that they have played with Daryl Sutter behind the bench. It continued last night in a very impressive 4-3 victory over the Edmonton Oilers. Really fun hockey game, very exciting. One hell of a knockout, too, and one of the fights that took place in the game last night as Brett Ritchie ends up KOing Jujhar Khaira in that game last night. Just one punch right to the one right hand, and that was it. So it was an impressive knockout there for Brett Ritchie, but that game was very intense, back and forth, and the Flames now 3-0 with Daryl Sutter behind the bench in that 4-3 victory that they had last night. The Buffalo Sabres, and we'll get into them because they're playing again tonight against New Jersey, but rock bottom. I mean, I think I've said the Sabres have hit rock bottom about a dozen times over the last year. And it seems like every game that goes by, this is a team that ends up actually looking worse with the very next game that they play. And for the Buffalo Sabres, you look at last night, and it's not just that you lose 6-0 and get shut out by the Washington Capitals and just barely muster any shots on goal and barely muster any scoring chances. It's the fact that here's Peter Laviolette, who, this is the irony of this whole situation last night, who was accused at one point previously of putting his top players out on the power play when his team was winning in blowout fashion. Peter Laviolette was actually accused of that. And yet here's Laviolette last night, got his fourth line players on the ice on a late power play for the Washington Capitals when they had a 5-6-0 lead. It was 5-0 it was at the time. So that tells you all you need to know. That's rock bottom. That's an embarrassment if I'm the Buffalo Sabres. People are giving us such a huge pity party right now and feeling so freaking sorry for us right now that we're going to put our fourth line guys, our muggers and our checkers and our grinders out on the ice on a power play late in the third period. It's just a mess right now. The Buffalo media is like vultures circling around this disaster right now, like the dead carcasses. That's what Mike Harrington and all these guys for the Buffalo media are like right now. Those were pointed questions being asked after that debacle last night to Sam Reinhart, to the head coach Ralph Kruger. Have you quit on the coach? Have you got to get new players in here that are going to give you some kind of effort, some kind of spirit on the ice on a nightly basis? Just some really, really dagger questions, and they're not holding back. They are pointing the barrel of the rifle is being pointed right at this team, all the players, the head coach, and you got to wonder, is there anything that can be done to make this situation improve for the Buffalo Sabres? And they're not going to have much time to dwell on it. They got to play the New Jersey Devils tonight, and we'll be breaking that game down in just a second. We got my colleague here, Jimmy Murphy, joining us now on the Tuesday edition of the Ice Guys. Jimmy, welcome in. Before we get into Tuesday's card, some thoughts about last night. I mentioned Calgary's win, Buffalo, another debacle for them, and of course the Boston Bruins, where they can't put a puck in the ocean apparently right now. Another loss for them against Pittsburgh last night.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Obviously, I was pretty focused on that game, but as far as the Bruins go right now, they did do a lot of things right there. I think they actually, it kind of went somewhat the way we thought it would, right? Ian, I mean, you had said they're going to come out. They know that they've got desperation. They know the pressure's on. They're going to come out strong and answer the bell after a really bad showing against the Rangers. I thought they did that. And unfortunately, I don't necessarily look at the scoring woes right now as the biggest issue there. I look at Jaro Halak absolutely shitting the bed in the first period. I mean, let's face it. If he stops those 2 shots, which both of them he should have had in the first period, the Bruins go into the intermission up 1-0, and that game goes in a totally different direction. I'm convinced of that. And I think, when you see a goalie let in 2 softies like that, especially a guy that's been pretty good for you lately, it's a bone crusher. I mean, it gets you there. It's a backbreaker. But that being said, it's the onus is then on the players and the leaders on the team to pick up the goalie who's picked them up for a while, and they didn't do that. And so that's on them. But, I look at tonight, and, I know we'll get to it, but now you've got a backup going in there, and Dan Vladar, who's only experienced, was coming in mop-up duty against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Bruins aren't in a good position right now. I mean, I know they got Buffalo coming up later this week, so maybe that's 2 wins, but with the way they're playing, you never know. So that's the way I look at it, guys. And we every night, like we talked about this yesterday, things are just going up and down in the standings. And right now, the Bruins are one of these teams going down, and the Pittsburgh Penguins are on fire. They are going up. And, you look at Sidney Crosby, the way he's playing right now, and the way Malkin's playing, and then putting them together on that power play was just lethal. The Penguins are a team to be reckoned with going forward right now.
They sure are, and that's a great segue right into the start of the Tuesday card, because the first game on the betting rotation is indeed the Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we'll get into that right now. Rematch of the 2 teams playing last night, back at it tonight in Pittsburgh. We've got the Penguins minus 115, slight home favorites. The total 5.5, pretty much even money in this game. And yeah, as you mentioned, Boston having trouble finding the back of the net. I mean, Matt Grzelcyk point shot on the power play was all she wrote for the Bruin offense last night against the Penguins. And of course, you're right about the first period. It's kind of like what we saw from the Leafs with Michael Hutchinson Sunday night against the Ottawa Senators. Your goalie just doesn't give you a chance, at the very beginning of that game with two, and they both gave up 2 goals that absolutely should have been stopped. Hutchinson Sunday night against Ottawa for the Leafs, and then Jaro Halak last night against Pittsburgh. One's from the boards, sideboards, the face-off dot, and it just goes right through him. He's not against his post. There's room, and it beats him. And then one goes right through him on the first goal as well. It's a puck. He's got to stop both of those goals. He's got to make the save. He's got to be better than that. And so here's what I thought coming into this game. My first inclination from a betting standpoint in this game, from a total perspective, was over. But I quickly got off that. And for a couple of different reasons here. First of all, Boston ain't scoring right now, and that's a clear problem right now. They're not finding the back of the net. I'm not totally convinced that because they're facing Casey DeSmith tonight instead of Tristan Jarry that it's going to change. And I know they're going to take some solace in the fact they got over 40 shots last night, but at the end of the day, it's a results-oriented business. You got to have production to go with those shots. You can get all the shots, all the chances you want. If you don't bury anything, it doesn't matter. Isn't worth a damn. It doesn't mean screw all to me, that you get 40 shots in a game and you don't put anything in. So at the end of the day, Boston's just got to do a better job in terms of, and they've talked about it, everybody on the Bruins, they're all saying the same things, traffic in front of the net, rebounds, shoot from everywhere. It's always what you get from teams when they're struggling to score. So I'm not convinced Boston's offense solves itself here tonight in this game. And second of all, why I initially thought maybe I look over 5.5 in this game is because of the Dan Vladar situation. He's making his first official start in the NHL, and he's got good numbers at Providence. 2.2 goals against, 920 save percentage at Providence. But again, NHL, AHL, it's a different kettle of fish. All that being said, there's also that belief in my mind that the Bruins just really dig in defensively tonight to help this kid out in net. Sometimes you get that. A lot of times you see that, where the team, with the young goalie making his first NHL start, and you'll do everything in their power to make life easy on him, be solid defensively, make sure you don't give him those grade A chances that he's going to have to stop. You make sure, you make sure you clear out the front of the net so that he sees the puck and is able to make the routine saves. You would think the Bruins have one hell of a defensive game tonight in front of him. So put those 2 things together, and I quickly got off the over. From a side perspective, it's Pittsburgh or pass, but I don't want to be a day late, $1 short. I didn't bet Pittsburgh last night. I don't want to come back to them tonight when I didn't bet them last night. If I was on them last night, I probably would have bet them again today, because I do think they're certainly the team in much better form right now at both ends of the ice. But I didn't bet them last night. Don't want to be in a spot where I take Pittsburgh tonight, and here's the Bruins rallying the troops around young Dan Vladar in net tonight. So for that reason, it's just a lean to Pittsburgh. I ended up passing on the total and passing on the game altogether. Jimmy, what do you think here? Bruins, Penguins?
I think Jimmy Puckline's coming out here. I think the Bruins get smoked tonight. I really do. I think that after last night, they can be saying all the right things, but I sense a lot of frustration there right now. I sense a lot of fear when they're looking at the standings and how far they've dropped in such a short time. And just a lot of uncertainty around that team right now. They're not in sync. And now you throw this kid into the fire there, right to the Wolves, and that is the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I do like your call on. I like the fact that, the Bruins aren't scoring. So you would think a backup goalie go over, but no, the Bruins aren't scoring. So I'm going to make 2 plays on this. I'm going to do Jimmy Puckline. Give me the Penguins -1.5. I'm seeing it at +215 in some places. And also give me the under 5.5, just because the Bruins aren't scoring.
There you go. So basically we're looking at, there's 3 possibilities that can get Jimmy to 2-0 with these. 2-0 Pittsburgh, 3-1 Pittsburgh, or 4-1 Pittsburgh. That's what we're looking for. There you go, 4-1. Maybe with an empty netter, kind of like last night, right? That's exactly how last night played out in this game. So Jimmy liking the puck line here on Pittsburgh, -1.5, +220 is the price on that, and also under 5.5, -110. Next game, Buffalo Sabres, New Jersey Devils. New Jersey, -170. Home favorites, total 5.5, shaded to the over. And you're not seeing things. This ain't the Tampa Bay Lightning. This ain't the Pittsburgh Penguins. This ain't those teams laying -170 here. This is the New Jersey Devils, folks, laying -170 against the Buffalo Sabres, which tells you all you need to know about the Buffalo Sabres right now. But the thing is, there's 2 colliding losing streaks for these teams coming into this game tonight. We know the Buffalo Sabres have just been pathetic. I mean, that's I could go on and on with the synonyms and the adjectives and the adverbs to describe the Sabres. There's so many different ones you can come up with for a team that's 0-11, 11-game losing streak, 47-17. They've been outscored during those 11 games. Just pitiful from the Sabres. But the New Jersey Devils have their own losing streak coming into this game tonight. They've lost 11 straight at home. Can you believe that? New Jersey Devils, they've lost 11 straight games on home ice. So something's got to give here in this game. But the thing is, Buffalo looks lifeless. I'm seeing ridiculous stuff too. It's like, it's almost like this team's just, they're not only playing poorly, nothing's working. They're not scoring. Of course, Eichel's out all the time now. The defense and goaltending stinks. And now they get these chances and they're hitting posts. They're shanking shots. They're missing wide open nets. Guys are falling down. It's like someone throws a banana peel on the ice and they slip and fall, and there goes that chance. That's happened multiple times to the Sabres. Taylor Hall tripped on a breakaway a few games ago. Last night, again, a guy falls down when on a 2-on-1. A breakaway, wide open breakaway, clear cut, and a missed net by like 10 feet on the shot on the breakaway. I mean, it's like the Barnum and Bailey circus right now with this Buffalo Sabres. Washington Generals. That's how bad it's getting. Like, it's not just 11 losses in a row, but you've been outscored by 30. You're -30. In goal differential. Yeah, he's amazing. He's ruthless. He is not letting anyone else.
Oh my God! Tell us how you really feel, Mike.
I mean, really, that's a Jerry Sullivan.
You like to play?
He makes Jerry Sullivan look tame. He's been a long time Buffalo Sabre reporter and writer as well. So yeah, he's ruthless. Like, he's not letting anybody get by with this nonsense. He's holding them accountable, and it's hard to blame him because this is ridiculous. This is supposed to be a professional team right now.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, and he had pointed it out, I'm sure maybe somebody else did before, but it just sort of got past me. I didn't realize that the Buffalo Sabres don't have like a team president or a director of hockey ops for Kevin Adams to bounce ideas off. I mean, he's got his assistant GMs. They're not that qualified though. So he doesn't really have anyone qualified or experienced sort of with him or a little above him in the totem pole there. And essentially it's become Mrs. Pagula, which is just insanity.
Yeah.
Kim Pagula is not, going around scouting in rinks or watching hockey for the last 20 years, like say a Brian Burke would, in the world they brought him in Calgary and now Pittsburgh. No, that's just not how it works. There's so much conflict of interest potential there, in terms of having your owner be that person. And no wonder this is shit show up there. And it's not going to get any better until those morons, the Pagulas, are out of there.
Yeah, and it's amazing that the Pagulas can't look at what they're doing right with the football team, the Buffalo Bills, and say, maybe some of that can work with the Sabres.
Well, here's the thing, Ian. I mean, what it comes down to me, the way I read that is they don't give a shit about the Sabres. The Sabres are just an asset to them. They're not hockey people, and they know that their meal ticket is the NFL and is the Bills right now, especially with the Bills, the way they're going, being a contender. And the Sabres are just like, we'll get to them when we get to them. And that sucks because, people don't realize, I think, around the country and in Canada as well, that Buffalo is a great hockey market. They're an unbelievable hockey market. If you look at the NBC ratings on games, right, it's always the top ratings for each game is always the top is the two cities that are being represented in that game. And then by chance, usually it's the third team, the third ranking is Buffalo. So that is a great hockey market there. And obviously they're close to Toronto there. They've got a great rivalry there. It's sad to see what's going on there.
It is. And yeah, Kim said she's looking at the prospects. Yeah, that 20 years of scouting experience, I'm sure, for NHL is coming in handy for her. Yes. That's hard to believe, man. It really is. And the product on the ice, look, I mean, this team's struggling to score goals big time. They're hemorrhaging goals in their own zone as well. Carter Hutton and Jonas Johansson are just not NHL goalies from anything I've seen as well. Hutton's had a tough year. Hutton's getting frustrated. It's going to be Jonas Johansson likely in net tonight, and he hasn't been any better. 0-5, 3.96 goals against average. He's nearly given up 4 goals per game. This young kid here, Jonas Johansson. So, look, New Jersey's not in any great shape either. I mean, they're not playing great hockey either by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm seeing effort. I'm seeing them be competitive, give teams a good game. They took Washington to overtime. Against the Islanders, they hung in there. They didn't. They had a very, very painful loss. They thought they won the game Sunday against the Islanders, and the goal got taken off the board, and then the Islanders ended up winning that game just after that. Mackenzie Blackwood has struggled big time, and he's kind of had a downturn in his play. Now he's back in the net tonight for New Jersey. He definitely has had a tough time. I think he's lost 5 or 6 starts in a row. So it does concern you a little bit, but hey, if he's finally going to get off the schneid, this is still a capable young goalie. He showed you how good he can be early in the season. He's kind of fallen off lately, but this is the perfect spot. He's been rested a little bit because they've gone with Wedgwood a couple of times. Get him back in there, get his confidence back, get a win under his belt. No better time, no better opponent than facing this Buffalo team. So for me, it's the keep it simple, stupid theory. Devils regulation for me in this game at -110. Very good price, right around even money. I like the Devils. -110 to -115 is what you can get with that. For me, it's New Jersey in regulation. I can tell you, Mike, our colleague Alex B. Smith can't be on the show today, a little under the weather. He also likes that. He is also on Devils in regulation here, -115. Jimmy, what do you think here, Buffalo, New Jersey?
I'm passing on this game. It's just nothing intrigues me about it except the long lasting train wreck that the Buffalo Sabres are right now. Just it's like in slow motion, and it's just not stopping. And one more thing on them. Sorry to rant, but I know I've said it here before, but shame on Taylor Hall. Shame on him coming in there on that 1-year deal, and when realizing things are starting to go bad, he just folds up his tent and does nothing. He is, to me, the epitome of a me player. He's not a team guy. Never has been, never will be. And I really pray that some team doesn't overpay for that waste of space and that overrated piece of crap. I'm sorry. That's what I think of it.
That's bringing out the knives and the daggers right there, big time. And yeah, it sounds like Mike Harrington now.
Well, I mean, everywhere he goes. I mean, and let's face it. I mean, I get, he won the MVP in New Jersey, and they say, oh, he's not a team player. Well, who the hell else did New Jersey have? Okay? That was a 1 year he decided that I'm going to play and I'm not going to sulk and I'm going to do. But guess what? He's playing for a contract. That's what he does. This is what Taylor Hall does, but he's playing for a contract now and he's playing like this. That just shows you the lack of heart and a lack of passion, because you know what he's probably saying to himself is, I'm going to get the money anyways. I'm Taylor Hall. I'm a number 1 pick overall. He's still thinking that way. Well, guess what? Things are changing. I'm telling you, I'm talking to GMs every day right now as we head to the deadline, and a lot of GMs aren't going to go near him. They're disgusted by the way he's just given up with that team right now, and I don't blame him.
There you go. And I think it's a lack of effort. I think he's not fighting through it. I mean, I think he's the king culprit of it. Everybody says, where's the effort? Are you fighting? Have you given up on your coach? Have you given up on the team? Have you given up on the season? He's probably the chief of it right now, Taylor Hall, in that regard. And look what he did at Arizona. Not a damn thing, and New Jersey, when they were supposed to have that great team. No, not very good, not noticeable. Couldn't find him on the telescope, with a telescope on the ice sometimes. I mean, that's been the issue. Showing up has been an issue for Taylor Hall, and it continues to be right now. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that on a lot of nights, the one kid giving you the greatest effort for the Sabres up front is that young rookie, Dylan Cousins. And that's an indictment of the rest of the team. At least I see this guy with he's knocking some people around, getting in fights, getting scoring chances, generating things offensively for this team. I mean, some of these guys that are paid a lot more. Eric Stahl doesn't seem like he's locked in either. He's in a really tough spot. He's a veteran guy that's in a train wreck franchise right now. So it's tough. And the Sabres, by the way, if you want to get some advanced numbers in here, you talk about expected goal margin, expected goals for them, 17.54 on the season, expected goals against 22.21. You've got to be really bad to have a -4, almost a -5 goals margin, expected goal margin per game. That means they're expected to lose by almost 5 goals in every game based on what they're generating from a chance standpoint and what they're giving up. That's horrendous. That's as bad as it gets. And look, you could say that maybe it's hard to trust New Jersey, but they're absolutely the lesser of these two evils. There's no question about that. I don't feel anything close to that way about New Jersey. Yeah, it's been a tough go, but I think this is their chance to get back on track, which is why I like New Jersey here in regulation. Next up, we've got, as we continue on down the Tuesday NHL card, we've got the New York Islanders and Washington Capitals. Islanders here about -115, road favorites, total 5.5, shaded to the over in this game. The Washington Capitals, it's a back-to-back spot for them. The Islanders played Sunday, so you have a nice little scheduling and situational advantage here for the New York Islanders going into this game. You've also had a team that's been battling some issues in terms of player personnel. I mean, obviously, just a devastating loss. Their captain, Anders Lee, for the season last week against New Jersey. Done for the year, just has been playing so well. He's really become an impressive captain for that Islanders team, if you ask me. Anders Lee, been impressed with his game, impressed with his work ethic and his leadership off the ice. So to lose him is a big blow for the Islanders. J.G. Pageau and Noah Dobson landed on the COVID protocol list, but good news in the case of Pageau is that he's going to be off the list and back in the lineup tonight for the New York Islanders going into this game, which is good because, you talk about a great two-way forwards in the NHL. Pageau's that. He can give you offense, and he's extremely good in his own zone. I think there's a situational edge for the Islanders. I do lean to the Islanders here a little bit, but I can't take anything away from Washington. They're playing some pretty damn good hockey right now. They're on their own win streak. Their offense has been outstanding. 5 straight wins for them. Islanders, though, they're going for 9 straight wins. Or actually, they're going for 10 in a row now because they won 9 in a row with the shootout win against New Jersey on Sunday. So you've got 2 teams that are streaking right now. 5 in a row for Washington, 9 in a row for the Islanders. This game should be probably priced right where it is, a pick 'em. I'm probably going to stay off the game and pass, but I do lean a little bit to the New York Islanders. Even the loss of Lee, this is where Beauvillier, Eberle, you've got other guys to step up for them. Kiefer Bellows, watch out for him. Took the spot on the top line the other night and scored 2 goals against New Jersey. So whenever you lose a guy like an Anders Lee, you need to see if these reinforcements can slide into the lineup and produce and make an impact. He was able to do that, Kiefer Bellows. So watch out for that for him for the New York Islanders. Maybe a little under the radar goal scorer prop. Unfortunately, I was looking for Kiefer Bellows today on the goal scorer props on multiple books, and he wasn't listed anywhere. So I think people are asleep at the wheel that, that he's not only playing now for the Islanders, but also producing. So that was disappointing. But I still lean Islanders a little bit here. Someone's got to lose. I just think the Islanders at this price, with a little bit of a rest advantage, having not played last night, is the way I would go. I'm not betting it, but just a lean to the Islanders. Jimmy, what do you think? Islanders Capitals.
Yeah, I mean, whoop, you got me right. Okay, yep. Good. I thought I did the mute thing again. Anyhow, you know what? You look at the Islanders right now. I mean, I can't go against them just the way they're playing. I know the Caps are on a streak as well, as you pointed out, but the Islanders are playing some great hockey right now. So I could see this. I definitely had a little part of me that likes a draw in this one, but I'm gonna just play it safe, and maybe they end up winning in overtime or the shootout. I'm gonna go with the Islanders on the money line.
All right, liking the Islanders on the money line, and I lean in that direction as well. Carolina and Detroit. We've got the Hurricanes minus 225, road favorites here, 5.5. The total shaded to the over in this game. Carolina Hurricanes playing excellent hockey, 8-game win streak for them. Really outstanding. Nino Niederreiter's been outstanding for this team all season long. He's been terrific. Of course, Svechnikov and Aho, it goes without saying how good offensively they've been. You look at this blue line. There's not a real dominant blue liner on this team, but 1 through 6, they are just rock solid and steady, with Brady Shea and Brett Pesce and Jacob Slavin and Dougie Hamilton's having a nice season. So this is a very, very strong, solid Carolina team. Even the goaltending has managed to hold the fort, with Peter Mrazek out now for well over a month. Alex Nedeljkovic and the James Reimer combination have done the job for them. Even Brock McGinn's also chipped in offensively from that third line. So, this team's playing well. I was on the over when these two teams played on Sunday, and it was kind of a snooze fest. Detroit didn't really generate much, and Nedeljkovic actually played very well. It's going to be Reimer this time around. Jeff, usually coaches really criticize their team for bad defensive play more than bad offensive play. Jeff Blashill actually criticized his team against Carolina for not generating anything. He says they're ripping the team offensively, saying we got to be better than that in terms of generating goals. So he wants this team to be more aggressive. They said they passed the puck way too much, and we need to get the game a little bit more hectic, shoot the puck more. The game that should have went over on Sunday but didn't, I think it does go over tonight. So I'm not involved in the side. Carolina's not a team I'm going against, but when they're laying a minus 225 type price on the road, you sometimes struggle to find the value. So I'm just going to stick with over the total. It came up short Sunday. I think it gets here tonight in this game. Good chance it's Grice, by the way, for Detroit in net. And believe it or not, he's been the subpar goalie compared to Jonathan Bernier for this Detroit team this season. So I think the game does get over the total. That's the way I'm going to go with the Canes and the Wings over 5.5, minus 115. Jimmy, what do you think here with Carolina, Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, look, Detroit, hey, look what they did against Tampa the other night, but I mean, they're still Detroit. I'm going to go with a puck line here again. Give me the Carolina Hurricanes on the puck line.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing extremely well. The puck line here is plus 120 on the Carolina Hurricanes. So minus 1.5, plus 120 for Jimmy with Carolina. So 2 Jimmy puck lines here today for Jimmy Murphy already on this show. Arizona and Minnesota. The Minnesota Wild almost minus 200 here. Home favorites, 5.5, the total shaded to the under. Something tells me Arizona is going to give you one hell of a game and one hell of an effort tonight. They don't want to get swept 3 straight by Minnesota. The problem is I don't know if it's going to be enough. Like, this Minnesota team is just terrific right now, outstanding. What can you say? Kaprizov, outstanding. Fiala, Zuccarello. This is amazing. Zuccarello, now that he's finally healthy, this is the best I've seen this guy play. He didn't get to do much in Dallas when he was with the Stars because he was always injured all the time. And now he's healthy with Minnesota, and he's putting up the points big time for this team. Kaprizov's just been unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what else we can say. He's going to win Rookie of the Year, you would think. He's got to be the front runner at this point in time. There's no question about that. 4-1 victory. It was a tight game for most of the way, but then the floodgates opened for Minnesota. in the third period of that win on Sunday afternoon. They're 9-3 now at home this year. And even Cam Talbot, who's kind of been displaced by Kaapo Kähkönen in net for the Minnesota Wild, was much better in the last two starts that he's had. For Arizona, they're really a lot of quotes here saying, we've lost 2 in a row here. Christian Dvorak says, we don't want to get swept in Minnesota. We've got to treat this game like a must for us and bring the best effort we can. So, that's all nice, and the words are great, and I'm sure they are going to bring it tonight because they don't want to lose 0-3, but I'm not going in front of this Minnesota freight train right now. I'm just not going to do it, and Arizona is still struggling to find the back of the net at this point in time. So for me, this is not a game I'm going to be involved in either way. Minnesota, if you weren't on Minnesota in the first game or the second game against Minnesota, I wouldn't take them tonight. I wouldn't, because I think this is an Arizona spot. You would think they're going to dig down and deep and do whatever they can to get out of here with a win tonight. But if you have been riding Minnesota the first 2 games against Arizona or previous to that, I wouldn't talk you out of coming right back with Minnesota tonight. But I just don't know, if you haven't been on this ride with Minnesota previous to tonight, that now's the time you want to jump on the train. That's just my thought when it comes to this game. But should be interesting. And Kaapo Kähkönen, by the way, is back in net tonight. After Talbot got the last 2 starts, he's back in net. His numbers are brilliant. What is he, 10-4 on the season? 2.21 goals against average, 924 save percentage. Some excellent numbers from him. He's been terrific as of late in particular. So for me, I just don't want to get in Minnesota's way, even though Arizona, it gets that feel, that gut feel of a game where, if they bring that game 7 of a playoff series type of mentality, I think, tonight, Arizona. The question is, will it be enough? Jimmy, what do you think here, Arizona, Minnesota?
Well, I mean, I see your reasoning there, and I don't disagree that could happen. But, I've been on this train right now. I mean, Terry Edelman's got me riding coach right now, man, and I'm enjoying it. I'm going to move up to first class in a bit, I think, and keep riding until it really gets deep. So I like the Wild in this, but I don't like them enough to take them on the side here. So what I'm going to do is take their team total over for this game. Give me the Wild. I believe I'm looking at a 3.5.
3.5 plus 120. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I got here. So that's what I'll do for this game.
Yeah, and if you think Minnesota offensively can do what they've done quite a bit lately, and that's get you to 4 goals, stay with that, and you don't have to worry about what Arizona does or doesn't do. So yeah, Minnesota over team total 3.5 plus 120 for Jimmy in this one. Moving on down the card, we've got Tampa Bay and Dallas. The Tampa Bay Lightning minus 145 to minus 150. Road favorites. The total 5.5 shaded to the under. I am on the Lightning here at minus. I got minus 145. Maybe for the purposes of the show, I will trim that down to a regulation bet. But I am on the Lightning here. You know what it's like. Tampa off a loss. I'm interested. I'm always interested in back in Tampa Bay when they've had a subpar game in their last game, and certainly they had that against Nashville yesterday, losing 4-1 to the Predators. But it's not like Tampa Bay was just garbage and didn't show up in that game. They had their chances. It wasn't effort. It wasn't they didn't play hard or show up to play. It was the finishing ability, the execution you need to finish your chances. It wasn't there. They had a boatload of chances. They had a ton of great chances. And you got to give some credit to Pekka Rinne, who, as I said on Twitter yesterday, pretty much had his one good game out of every 10 games yesterday in that game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's what it is with him. Watch Rinne now give up 4 or 5 in the next game, because that's what he does.
It's weird. Does he have? Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but if you've been reading about how he's on their no trade list, and then he's saying, "I'm going to finish my career." Why is he getting this free lifetime pass to stay there? I guess based on the past, but I mean, he sucks right now. He's lost it. I mean, I think we talk about this all the time. I mean, he's not the Pekka Rinne of their cup year. And even then he was letting in softies in the playoffs. And, I just don't get that whole thing. It's really weird. Yeah.
And even if they still wanted to trade him now, the ship has sailed. The value ship has sailed. Yeah. The time to trade him was a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The Leafs took a flyer on him. Who? You wouldn't take if you could get him for like a 3rd or 4th rounder and you're the Leafs, you wouldn't take a flyer on him to back up Anderson? No, because I got Campbell. I got Campbell, but will I have Campbell? Campbell can't get on the ice. Campbell can't stay healthy. Campbell's excellent when he's in there, but unfortunately, the soup turns bad, he gets hurt again. So from that standpoint, what's the issue? That's the issue with Toronto. They love Campbell. He's played great for them, but he's also not played many games for them, or as many, because he's just can't stay healthy. And
I don't
so
know
for that, did they explore another goalie? I don't know, but it wouldn't be Pekka Rinne, at least for me. If I was the GM,
it's just you bring him up, and I was literally, before I hopped on a show, I was reading about sort of this lifetime pass he apparently has to retire there. So,
all right, well, it's like a golden ticket, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just going to be like Reg Dunlop.
You have all the chocolate you want. You can play all the games that you want here in Music City. Lifetime pass. Here we go. We'll bring you. We'll spool you up. We'll bring you out on your wheelchair when you're 80 years old, and you can play goal for us for the Nashville Predators. Yeah, that's basically where we're at right now with Rinne. But that was his one good start. You give him credit in 10 starts, as I said, and he was great yesterday. It was a turn back the clock performance,
and I nailed that first period
exactly with Nashville. But Tampa Bay, they didn't play poorly. John Cooper said after the game, "Hey, we had chances, we didn't score. We had power plays. We didn't score. They had power plays. They scored." He said a lot of times in games this year, our power play has been the difference for us winning. Yesterday, for the one of the few times, it was the difference in us losing. They scored on the power play, and we didn't. So it's not a panic situation for Tampa. I think they will be back on track today against Dallas. And I was on Dallas as a best bet against Columbus, but that was more the opponent that they played. The Jackets just totally out of sync, out of sorts, not playing good hockey. Consistently inconsistent, as I said the other day. They do have Radulov back, which definitely helps them offensively. But, Tampa Bay's really taken it to Dallas most of the season when these two teams have played head-to-head. Of course, they have the Stanley Cup Finals win over them as well. And they're actually good on the back-to-back, 2-1 on the second night of back-to-back games this year, Tampa Bay. And Vasilevsky will be back in net after McElhinney played yesterday. So I'll put it all together, and I'm on Tampa Bay here around -145, -150 in that price range. If you want to take Tampa in regulation for better value, I wouldn't talk you out of that either. Jimmy, what do you think here? Lightning and Stars.
We've had the discussion. I think it was around this time last week, just talking about the Dallas Stars and where they're at. I mean, every game's a playoff game for them right now. They win one, and that might be it. That's the way they're going into every night, and that's a tough way to live. On one hand, you think, okay, desperation can be good, but on the other hand, it can backfire the other way. And then you're playing a team like Tampa Bay coming off a loss. I got to go with Tampa Bay and give me another puck line. I don't know, puck line city today, buddy. Give me the Tampa Bay Lightning on the puck line.
+180, -1.5 with the Tampa Bay Lightning on the puck line for Jimmy Murphy. Looks like it'll be Ottinger in net, by the way, for the Dallas Stars tonight in this one. And Rick Bowness isn't shying away from this. He's basically saying, here you go, boys. Here you go, Jake. Here you go, Anton. You're going to go back and forth getting starts and show me who should be the number one goalie long-term moving forward. I think that's kind of where he's at right now, Rick Bowness, with his goaltending situation with the Dallas Stars right now. Radulov should be a boost, though, moving forward. It was good to see him back the other night against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Dallas, again, they've played marginally better hockey lately, but running in, I think, to Tampa Bay at the wrong time here tonight. Final game, we've got Anaheim, Colorado. Colorado -280. Huge price. 275, 280 home favorites. Total 5.5 shaded to the over in this one. Look, Colorado is flat out better than Anaheim. And boy, Anaheim's had a really tough time of it of late. There's no denying that. But we're talking Colorado in this price range with no Cale Makar, with no Bowen Byram, with Eric Johnson, 3 starting blue liners out for them. JP Compher, a key depth forward, is also not going to play tonight for the Avalanche. That is an astronomical price. And I'm not saying, when they're fully healthy, it's probably warranted when you look at it. The Ducks have lost 3 in a row. They were outscored 14-2 in those losses. And I think Colorado, even with the injuries, they lost, believe it or not, the last time they played Colorado, or the last time Colorado played Anaheim. Anaheim rallied from behind to beat Colorado 5-4. So I don't think Colorado's overlooking the Ducks here tonight in this game. Alex and I have talked about this. This team has scored a few more goals, Anaheim, but that defense is in a shambles now. Remember early in the season, they were relying on that defensive foundation and John Gibson being outstanding in net, and that foundation's crumbled. And it's crumbled for various reasons. They miss Hampus Lindholm on the blue line. That was a huge injury to them on that blue line. Hampus Lindholm is extremely strong on that Anaheim back end. I think you can make a case he's their most important, most critical defenseman. He's on IR. And the second issue is John Gibson's not playing as well because you're wearing the poor guy into the ground. You know, he's starting a ton of games. He's facing a ton of shots every night. And the workload and you're not only playing a lot of games, you're facing a ton of rubber in almost every game you're starting right now for John Gibson. And he's wearing down over that, you know, and that's the problem right now. He's overworked. He's facing too many shots. And you can only carry a team so long. And eventually the back is going to break. You know, and I think that's what's kind of happening here a little bit for Gibson in this one. Colorado, by the way, I think Anaheim can find the back of the net tonight. I don't know for how many, but I think they could pot one or two because Hunter Miska's in net for the Avalanche, not Philip Grubauer. Now, Colorado has been very airtight defensively. They haven't given up a lot of shots in recent games, but Philip Grubauer was in net for a lot of those. It'll be Hunter Miska tonight in goal for the Avalanche. He doesn't have really good numbers at all. His goals against average, I believe, 3.46. You know, just not very good from Hunter Miska in a backup role this year. Yeah, 3.5 goals against average and an .865 save percentage, and only 1-3 on the season in his 4 starts. So this is not one home favorite. I'm staying off Colorado completely. I don't want the money line. I don't want regulation. I don't want the puck line. I think they could win. But I think Anaheim's got the potential to dent Miska and Colorado for a few goals, especially with 3 starting defensemen out. But on the flip side, I think Colorado scores. The total is reasonable at 5.5. I like over the total here, 5.5 with Anaheim and Colorado tonight. Jimmy, what do you think here? Ducks, Avalanche.
You know, I'm going to go 2 places here. Kind of ironic. I'm going to go team total over on Colorado, but then I'm going to take the under 5.5 for the total game. So give me those 2 plays on this game.
All right. That's an interesting approach. So Colorado to do lots of scoring, Anaheim to do barely any, essentially. Yeah. Jimmy, I like
a 4-1 here as well. And, you know, I saw an interesting stat the other day. Colorado, I believe in their last 5 games, I might have this wrong. We'll have to double check it. But it was something like they're only allowing teams 15.5 shots a game. They're buckling down. Like, we've been wondering where Colorado is, and their record sort of doesn't match where you expected them to be at this point. They've obviously had a lot of injuries, but even with guys still injured right now, they seem to be really in sync all of a sudden within their system, and we know the skill they have. So it seems like right now everything's starting to fall into place for Colorado to start to go on a surge here towards the playoffs, and I think that they're very much still a Stanley Cup contender.
Oh, their advanced numbers and are all just outstanding. You know, if you look at expected goal margin, high danger chances, you know, all of that stuff, all of those key advanced numbers, they're a top 3-5 team in the league, you know, in a lot of those different categories. And,
Rob and go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say it. Sometimes it doesn't always show up in the fact that, you know, there were a couple of games there. They barely beat LA. They barely beat Arizona, but they're out shooting the crap out of these teams and just carrying the play and dominating and tons of chances and not giving up much. And the puck just wasn't going in there.
Yeah. And that's a good segue because I was going to bring up that LA game where they barely beat them there. But, you know, I heard Pierre McGuire talking on the radio, I think on TSN 1200 in Ottawa yesterday morning or today. I don't know. And he says, look, Rob Blake's in the elevator with me after that game, and he's saying, we're just not on their level. I mean, they're on a whole other level. They're like on a tier way above most of the NHL right now, and that's just a plain and simple of it. And we can play as hard as we want. We played a great game, but that's just where they are. And I think that's why, you know, they've had, you mentioned the loss they had to Anaheim earlier in the season. That's why I don't think we're going to see those losses to the lesser teams and the teams out of the playoffs. You know, a lot of times we see these contenders kind of slide and play down to the level of those teams in a stretch run. I don't think we're going to get that going forward from the Colorado Avalanche. I think the only losses we'll see for them is when they're playing somebody close to or at their level, if there is anyone.
Yeah, and the shocking part of all this is the fact that, Cale Makar's been out for a long time now. And
That's
Bowen
just scary.
Byram's now missed games. How scary is this team going to be? And Eric Johnson, who's a very good veteran, sturdy.
He's one of those blue guys.
Yeah. What are they going to? How are they going to look when they get those three Those are three starting defensemen. Those
I don't want to go near them.
Top picks there, man. The sky's the limit for Colorado because you're right.
And Grubauer too. I'm sorry. I'll eat crow there, man. I was saying they're not going to do it unless they go out and get a goalie. They need to get Price. They need to get this guy. Hey, Grubauer shut that up. I mean, he's been phenomenal.
He has, and this team is getting, I think, better and better playing in front of their goalies as well. That does concern me about the overs. I haven't said all of that. I'm on the over here, but I do think Anaheim with Miska in net and not Grubauer, that was the key to the bet for me, is that it's not Grubauer tonight.
Yeah.
And I think that'll allow Anaheim maybe to get a couple of goals on the board tonight, and Colorado will take care of the rest because you're right. They're hemorrhaging goals all of a sudden, the Ducks. The defense is worn down. They missed Lindholm, who's a huge minutes guy on the blue line, plays in all situations, and Gibson's just facing too much rubber to handle right now, and it's wearing him down too. So that's why I had the liking the over here at 5.5 with the Anaheim Colorado game. There we go. That is the Tuesday card. We have gotten through each and every game on this Tuesday NHL card. Thanks to everyone for tuning in live on YouTube. A reminder, we're on YouTube live Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern, every single day, 7 days a week. We do the Ice Guys show right here, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network, breaking down every single NHL game from a betting perspective. I'm absolutely floored and, completely humbled by the great comments and positive remarks and reviews of the show that I'm reading on Twitter and DMs and tweets and messages. And it's beyond flattering, guys. We thank you. We put in a lot of work to put this show together. We prep for it. We try to give you all as good information as possible into this show, and we really do appreciate you guys tuning in every day. And a reminder, if you can't watch daily live on YouTube, make sure you download the Ice Guys show in audio podcast form on all major podcast providers. Our download numbers are fantastic with that. They keep improving and keep spreading the word. Anybody out there, and I know you guys do, that watch and listen every day, that are hockey fans and even have an inkling, even have some mild interest in betting, NHL hockey. Let them know about this show. Keep spreading the word about the Ice Guys. We'll get to best bets in just a second. Before we do, got to take care of a little housekeeping, a little business, and that's to remind you that to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN, and when you do, and again, this is the time to do it. March Madness starts Thursday. You're going to get incentives with that. If you download the download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with the THPN promo code, you will get a deposit bonus. You'll get weekly specials, incentives, including revolving around the March Madness NCAA tournament starting this week. So now's the time to get involved with DraftKings. Download the Sportsbook app, the DK Sportsbook app, sign up for an account, and use the promo code THPN. All right, it is time for best bets. Let's see if we can go for the 2-0 sweep here with the best bets. I know Alex is on Devils in regulation, and he likes, I believe, Minnesota puck lines. Let me just confirm that here because he sent it along to us earlier today. He was under the weather, which is why he couldn't join us today. But he is on. He's on Islanders Capitals. Beg your pardon. He's on Islanders Capitals first period over -1.5, -110, and his best bet is New Jersey in regulation -115 against the Buffalo Sabres. Again, lesser of two evils. It's not like New Jersey's any great shakes right now, but to me, the lesser of two evils by far when you compare them to the Buffalo Sabres. Jimmy, what do you think for best bet here on this Tuesday card?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the and this is why I tell you, I stay objective as I can. I'm not going to just pick the Bruins because I cover them and I know them. My best bet, Pittsburgh Penguins -1.5 over the Boston Bruins tonight.
All right, the Bruins struggles will continue, says Jimmy Murphy, of course, Bruins writer and reporter for years. Like in the Pittsburgh Penguins, -1.5, +225 against the Boston Bruins. That's his best bet. My best bet is going to be Carolina, Detroit, over 5.5, -120. That over fell short on Sunday. Jeff Blashill saying we got to be more aggressive offensively, open the game up more. yeah, he's going to open the game up more, maybe get more chances, maybe get more goals. That also means you're going to open up your defense more for Carolina to attack you the other way and really do some damage. It's going to be Reimer in net for Carolina. We've talked about how he's kind of tailed off and his play has kind of petered off in recent games. The more he started, probably Greiss for Detroit, although it's not confirmed. And, we've said it a bunch of times. His numbers are terrible this year, and he has clearly been shaken by not playing in front of the Islander or behind the Islander defense anymore, and under that Barry Trotz defensive structure and system. It's been a eye-opening experience going from that to playing here in Detroit for Thomas Greiss. So I think both teams find the back of the net. We'll go with Carolina, Detroit over 5.5. -120 for my best bet. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. And a reminder, download the audio podcast if you can't watch us live on YouTube. For Jimmy Murphy, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow on Wednesday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.